another podcast episode of Renaissance Room. It's so crazy. When I first turned on this recording, I said, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Earth and Den. And if you guys been following me for a while, you know we had a whole rebranding because I really wanted to tailor a lot of the podcast episodes more so centering education. But we still have that den like element, right? Like we're still a community. We're still like a haven. We still have this safe space, to just like be. But anyway, I got my dog some greenies today and I'm actually watching him. Does anyone else dog like play with their toy, like their treats? It's the cutest thing ever. But anyways, so in today's episode, I wanted to talk to you guys about something. And I think growing up is just a very interesting thing, that takes place. And I think so much of what we do is distractions and like numbing and, because life is suffering, right? And today my dad was having some complications. It's been like for a few weeks, but today he decided to go get it checked out. He was diagnosed with something. He's hilarious. I'm texting him and he's like, yeah, but I can't pronounce it. And I remember talking to someone recently and they were like, you joke about a lot of things that I feel like are serious and I don't really like that. And it was for the first time someone had called me out on it. And I think for myself, it's one of those things where it's like I've always kind of had this ability to maintain the sense of lightheartedness about things that I couldn't control. I was never really running from not sitting with the pain, but I think one of the things that I've learned growing up, people say like, to kind of soften the blow and like defense mechanisms and things like that. And all of that very much may be valid. But in my mind, I just don't think that certain things are that serious. And I think that there's so much that's out of your control. And I think that, so many of us, we get frustrated and we kind of like want to fight the wind, and I think you should express yourself how you express yourself. Like, for me, that may be with a sense of lightheartedness. But the reason why is because there's so much that's out of your control. I sat here and thought about it today, like, man, like, my parents aren't going to always be on this earth with me. And it was just a very, that was tough. I was sitting with that and that was very tough. And I'm like, what would I say? What would I do if it was the last day, And I drew blanks because I don't think that until you're in those situations. And then I think the opposite side of that is like there's so much in this life that is just inevitable. You may lose your job. You may lose your car. You may lose, a friend. You may lose a family member. Like so much in life is just so much like it's out of your control. And I think if you let so much get to you, you're not gonna be able to like survive, bro. Like you're not gonna be able to make it. And, to me, I think it's one of those things where it's like, you got to choose your battles, especially in regards to health. Getting upset and getting angry about a lot of different things, I don't really think that's a healthy way to go about things. And, I think when it comes to like, if you're talking to your friends and stuff and you guys have like petty arguments, things like that, like, I don't know. Like, I think, it just kind of boils down to like, do you like a person? And I know I'm kind of going a little into like relationships right now, but I was just thinking about like, that because I know for me, like in previous relationships, the healthy ones that I had, like the healthy dating scenarios or whatever, it was always to where it was like we would laugh about certain things, like little petty arguments. I think if you and someone can't really laugh about something and like y'all taking it 7 steps ahead and like, just like completely wilding and like going all out and everything, I don't really think that that's healthy, and I was sitting here thinking about how so much of our like quote unquote normals be dysfunctional. Like that's not normal, and so I think for me, it's more so like learning to pick your battles. And I think with human beings are just, everyone's complex. Everyone's got their own mindset. We're all dealing with a slight pinch, like a little pinch of narcissism. We're all trying to like take care of ourselves and, get to our next goals and our next destinations. We all want to be successful, right? We all want to take a shot and see if we can get a high rise or a brand new house and a Range Rover. Okay. Like most people are out here trying. So like, I get it, but I just think it's one of those things where it's like, man, you have to have a sense of lightheartedness about you in this life because life will really seek to, I can't even say life will seek to do it. I just think life happens that way, and it's very tough. And I think for me, one of the things that I just try to, always keep afloat is like gratitude and, yeah, man, just keeping that lightheartedness. Like, if it's not that serious, then I don't take it that serious, but if it's serious, then yes, I take it serious. Like with my father, this is very serious. And, for me, it's one of those things where it's like, man, it's so much that's out of my control. I remember like being in situations like when you just want to give it your best and you want to do your all. And like, I still find myself doing that. Like, I'm like, I just want to cook him so many healthy meals. I'm going to just show up. I'm going to do all these different things. But like, it's God's plan at the end of the day, so it kind of just goes back to, again, that lightheartedness and like enjoying the laughter, enjoying the time you spend with the person, and just more so like realizing how precious life is and being forgiving. And, because what can you do? Like I can't control that. I can't control whatever it is that God may have, and is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to be tough? No. Am I going to be like mad chipper if, God forbid, you know what I mean? No, no, I'm not. But like, you gotta find your way to like navigate life. You really do, because I've found that most people who like are older and pretty healthy, at least, they don't really stress about a lot of things. And another thing too, as you get older, you just kind of realize like, okay, life is just life. Life gonna do what life is gonna do. But I don't want to speak too much into the process again, because it's not something that I'm currently facing. This is also new, and, definitely accepting prayers and hoping everything is going to be okay, but it's just, again, it goes back to one of those things where it's like, man, I can't control it, and I think sometimes if you are afraid of that, like, you have to realize that you're going to be okay. Like, it'll just be a new chapter in your life, and things will probably change you, right? And you may not be the same, but like, you're going to be okay, and I don't know. I don't know if that's just like a message I just kind of want to get on here and like share with someone. But yeah, man, life is all of that. And, if you have like friends and, you're in a relationship or whatever, I would just think to always kind of maintain that sense of lightheartedness. I think life is hard in itself, and to constantly take things so far left. I mean, a lot of times that overreactivity is really like some underlying things going on there. But yeah, try to laugh in life. I'm literally laughing at him because he's like, I don't know how to pronounce it. Like, what do you mean? He's like, LOL. And I don't know. I think there's something beautiful about it, because for me, it's one of those things to where it's like, it's almost like you still have a sense of gratitude about yourself. Like, you're still very grateful over everything. And you may be feeling afraid. You may be feeling, upset or discontented. But it's almost like when you have that sense of lightheartedness about yourself, it's like you're choosing joy. And I think sometimes you do have to choose joy, because life is going to give you pain, and sometimes you have to just choose joy, and you have to just be like, okay, like, if this is my portion, if this is what God has, for me this season, if this is the cross I have to carry, then this is what I have to do, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll never mourn and you'll never weep and you'll never grieve. Like I said, I just said life is full of pain. I'm just saying, the people in your life is like, bond over that sense of lightheartedness, create that sense of rhythm and harmony and like gratitude and peace, because life is going to do what it's going to do. And like, you really can't control anything. Like, we are in control of very little. We can control our actions. We can control our attitudes. We can control our mindsets and the words we say. And that is it. Do you realize like that's only 4 things out of the bazillion things that are going on this earth right now? Like, you can't control anything. And I think for me, that's kind of where that lightheartedness comes, because I'm like, man, I'm just here to have this experience. I'm just here to do whatever God put me on this earth to do. Because there's only 4 things I can control. I can't control anything. And that right there, you're going to sustain your joy. You're going to have that sense of like happiness and peace within you, because there's so much that you can't control. And so it's like, when you meet people and stuff like that, you just, I don't know. I remember when I was in a season of my life, and I always thank God so much for providing for me. But I remember I was in a season of my life, I was very rigid. I think it was probably due to my overdrive. This is right before my like major burnout. And I just was very much like, go, go, go. I was very frustrated, agitated, just very aggressive in my demeanor. And I was just very hard-hearted, honestly. I think I just had some losses and some things happen to me in life, and that's just where I was. And I remember, meeting someone, and it was like this person was so lighthearted and I was so agitated with them. But like as the seasons changed, I'm so grateful for that person. I really am, because they taught me that. And like when I look back over everything I was worried about, everything I was frustrated about, it doesn't matter. And like half the things that I worried about, it didn't come to pass. And God had a plan, and I'm okay. And so like I thank God for that, because I feel like God sends people into your life to restore certain things in you. I remember praying that God would help me remove that hard-heartedness. And it's crazy because when I think about it, I remember meeting someone and we were hanging out a lot. And this could be a family. I'm not gonna get too into like the relational aspect of like who it was it a family member, like in this case, but like I'm just not even gonna go, because I just rather not disclose all that. But I remember, and this person was kind of like a reflection of me, and I used to be like, dang, like why you so mean? Why you so cold-hearted? Why you so da 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 da? And it was like that person was a reflection of me. And now I realized that like I prayed for God to just like position my heart and change my heart and everything and purify me. And I prayed, I cried, I grieved, and now it's like God is kind of like restoring me back to my natural state. And I feel like that person was like a reflection of me, and now that's not the forefront of my life. All in all, I just want to end this podcast episode by just saying that keep a sense of lightheartedness about you. You can take things seriously, but you just got to know like what's in your control and what's not in your control. And I think a big part just comes from seeing the good in everything. So, hope you guys have a great day. Peace.